Hey Freedom Family, this is Mark. And if this is the first time that you've joined us, man, we are so glad that you're here. This channel, _Freedom for Life _ has a mission, and the mission is to take people to help them get from where they're at to where they're called and created to be. And I have a question for you. What do you do when life doesn't turn out the way you expected it to? When the things that you had planned and purpose just didn't happen? Great time for that question, right? So today we're going to talk about disappointment. We're going to talk about what to do when life doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, the things that you had planned, whether because of some worldwide event or just a relationship that didn't turn out that way. And as always, we're going to give you 3 tools that you'll be able to implement in your life, and maybe they'll change your life forever. So let's get started, shall we? But to start talking about disappointment, I really need to tell you a story. My wife and I were married over 28 years ago, and I don't know what your marriage looks like or the ceremony or whatever, but we were so poor at the time that we had to combine our vacation, our family vacation, with our wedding. And so we went to see family, and it was at Christmas time. We got married on Christmas Eve. And could you do me a favor? Tell me what sort of unusual things happened for your wedding. Did you get married around Christmas time like we did, or something else? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. So we were in northern Utah, where my family was at the time, and we were going to get married, and I wanted to take my wife on one of the activities that I used to love to do when I lived there. So her and I got in our vehicle and we went driving. And so the activity that I used to love to do was, being in northern Utah, there's lots of mountains. And so I'd go up on a secluded road at times, and you'd be able to look out over the valley, and if it was nighttime, then you'd be able to see the lights, and I loved it. So of course I wanted to share that experience with her. So we decided on one of the days before we got married to start driving up this secluded road. And what happened was, things changed a little bit. You see, the way things changed was, as we were going up this road, it started to get a little bit slippery. And in our Ford Bronco, I hit the brakes on our vehicle going up this mountain road, and the car didn't stop. In fact, it started to slide sideways towards the edge of the road where it would go down the mountain. And all of a sudden, things changed in our life. The things we had expected didn't turn out the way I had hoped. You see, for us, or at least for me, I had a plan. And in normal circumstances, I would have gotten to the destination that I had expected. But how many of you know that? Obviously, with my brakes not working and the black ice that was there, honestly, it's Christmas time in northern Utah. Who would have known? But there was black ice, and because of that, the things I had expected to take place didn't. And literally, and sometimes proverbially, our life goes sideways. Can anybody relate to that? So the first tool I'm going to give you today is it's a simple word. Be honest about where you're at. Sometimes the most freeing thing we can do on our freedom journey is to be honest when our life is challenging, to say that. When the circumstances stink, to actually be honest enough to be able to say that. For my wife and I, on that mountain road going up to where we were supposed to be going and not being able to get there, the most honest thing we can do is to say, hey, this is scary and we need to not go any farther. And just to be clear, what I'm not saying is having a pity party. And I don't know about your life, but in my life, there are times where I've thrown myself an amazing pity party. And I'm so glad that I have a wife who allows me to know exactly where I'm at in those times. But what I am saying is there's a proper perspective to know where you're at emotionally and relationally. For me on that mountain, I'll be honest, I was scared. There were some outcomes that could have happened that were not very good, and I was not very happy about it. But in that place of being honest, you're able to deal with the emotions and where you're at. So why don't you do me a favor? Let me know where you're at in those comments down below. Hey, there may be some of us who are listening to this and you are in an amazing place. Things are happening and things are great. And man, let's see that in the comments, because we want to be part of that conversation when we're talking about our freedom journey. But there may be some of us who are in the middle of it. And I want to know that as well and be able to walk in that journey with you. And this brings me to tool number 2, and that tool is level setting. Level setting is basically figuring out where I'm at, not emotionally or relationally, but directionally. In order to be able to go where I need to be, I need to know where I'm at right now, what's going on in my life, and the direction that I'm heading in order for me to get from where I'm at to where I'm supposed to be. Like the story of my wife and I on the mountain. There came a point where I had to give up on my plans and the things that I had expected and be honest about where I was at. In order to be able to get where we needed to be, I couldn't be in denial, like the black ice wasn't real or the edge of the mountain wasn't there. But I had to know where I was going at directionally in order to get us to where we needed to be, which was down the mountain safely. See, level setting allows you to change your perspective from what's wrong with where I'm at to where I need to be. It's not about how unfair it is because we're on this mountain. It's not about who put us here and why are these circumstances happening to us. It's about understanding that this is the direction I'm going in order for me to go where I need to be, I need to be able to focus on that and that alone. Level setting. It's hugely important. And that brings us to our third tool. It's not enough to necessarily just be honest about where you're at, what's going on the inside, although that's important. It's not even enough to just level set. It's important to know what direction am I heading in, like us in that mountain. But it's actually important to actually do something about it. Like with my wife and I on that mountain. But first off, we had to admit where we were at, and that place was kind of fearful, right? Secondly, we had to understand the direction that we were going in. But at some point, we needed to make a game plan of where we're at and how to turn it around to get where we needed to be. It's the same thing for your life. Without the plan, it really is just knowledge. So let me give you 4 steps that will help you formulate a plan on how to get from where you're at to where you're supposed to be. The first step is focusing on what you have instead of what you lack. In challenging times, it's sometimes easier to think about and focus on the pain instead of the recovery. But what we focus on, we empower. So this first step really is saying this: I need to focus on what's available, what's empowering, what I can control, the things that I have, versus the challenges that are standing in the way. In doing that, what you're going to find is this, that your actions will have your attitude following them. So what I choose to focus on, my attitude tends to catch up. Step number 2 is this: focus on 1 or 2 things that you're going to change. Sometimes when we look at the whole picture or what we're trying to accomplish, it can be overwhelming. So my advice and my recommendation is, hey, pick 1 or maybe 2 things that you're able to change. And what you'll find is this: you're going to have a track record of success in completing that 1 or those 2 things. And because of that, that track record of success is going to give you a motivation to continue to move forward in the things that you're doing. The third step I want to give you is this: celebrate the small victories along the way. Sometimes we wait till we get the big prize, we get the final bell before we celebrate. But what I'm going to tell you is this: celebrate the small victories along the way, because every step you take forward is something to celebrate, because you're 1 step farther than you were before. Don't wait till the end and celebrate everything that has happened. Celebrate along the way, and that'll give you the motivation to continue even when times are challenging. Step 4 may sound a little bit unusual to you, but you need to listen in this. Step 4 is find somebody else to help. In my life, what I've found is that some of the most humbling, most satisfying, most exciting times of my life are when I found somebody who was in need, maybe somebody who lacked something that I had. And in being able to help them out, I've gotten a perspective shift on my life. My life gets bigger and my perspective gets clearer when I help somebody else who may be in need. And so I'm going to tell you, in step 4, find somebody who needs something that you have and give that thing to them. Not only will your heart shift, but your perspective will shift and your eyes will open up to so much more that you had than you knew when you came in. And because we're family and I love you, I'm going to give you a 5th step, right? A bonus step. And that bonus step is this: focus on what you can control. I know this is kind of a recap of the structure and the content that we have, but this one you need to understand. Your freedom isn't freedom if your freedom is dictated by what other people do and the circumstances you're in. But when I can focus on what I can control, which is me, focus on the part of my freedom journey that I can control, which is me walking it out, then all of a sudden I empower myself to do the things that I can do and find the things that I need to find to take me from where I'm at to where I need to be. Well, I hope this is all helpful to you. And here's what I'd love for you to do. Manny, could you put a comment down below? Let us know where you're at. We're on this freedom journey together, and we definitely want to be part of your conversation and have you be part of ours. Hey, I'm Mark, and I just need to let you know this. Your freedom starts today, and your answers are on the way. If you could do me 3 things, 3 favors while you're here, not just put a comment down below, but man, would you subscribe? We're walking in this freedom journey together, and I want you to be a part of the Freedom family and be a part of this conversation. Would you also hit that like button if there's something that you like, if there's something that's having an impact on you? And man, do not forget to hit that bell, because we want you to have all of the notifications that we have so you know exactly when content is up there. Every one of them is going to be a piece of your freedom journey. And as you're probably already aware, we have content. We're putting things up, lessons learned, tools, and truths every Thursday. So don't forget to be a part of it. And one super bonus that I didn't tell you about that I want to make you aware of is, hey, we have something for you. We have a tool that's going to help you in your freedom journey. It's just truths that you can live out, but it's something that you're going to be able to receive. So could you look for it in the description down below? And we'll send you that free material that you're going to be able to have. And basically what it's going to say is, hey, what are the things we're doing that don't work? And maybe there's something that does. Those truths are going to be in that teaching, and it's free to you, just as our gift for being a part of the Freedom family. So be a part of that. As you already know, I'm Mark, and I am so glad that you're here. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next Thursday.